Hi, my name is Jeremiah Priest, and I am a student at Wade Tech Community College, and I am currently taking an Interpersonal Communications class. Our discussion this week is to talk about what we want to take away from this class. I have a lot that I will take away, but I'm going to be very brief and try to break down the most important things that I know are going to help me and it may help somebody else. The first thing I would like to talk about is the elements of interpersonal communication. That's your source, your receiver, your channel, your noise, and the information. You want to know what those mean, because if you know what they mean, it's almost like breaking down a recipe. If you know what every ingredient is going to do for that recipe, it makes more sense when you go to taste it. So if you know what the source is, who's giving the message, if you know the receiver who's receiving the message, if you know the information, if you know the noise that could be going on, that's the stuff that's going on around you. As far as like right now, the noise that I would say for this video is my ceiling fan. It can be distracting, but if you listen very closely, you can hear me and pay attention to the message I'm trying to give you. You're the receiver, I'm the source. So it makes sense, right? But if you didn't know that, not saying you can't have a good conversation with somebody, but it makes it more important. It makes it more valuable. It makes you feel like you understand it more. And once you understand it more, if you're having, like me, I want to be a behavior analyst. So when I'm having a conversation with one of my clients, if I'm sitting there slugged over, you have verbal and nonverbal communication. If you're not paying attention, or if they can tell that your demeanor is not receiving or it's not accepting what they're saying, it's going to affect the relationship. It's going to affect the conversation that you're having with that person. I think those are very key elements that you want to know. The elements of interpersonal communication. The next thing, I love this part. Now, this part, when I found out what it is and how it helps people, it made me feel like this is something they need in marriage counseling. Honestly, it's called the iMessage. iMessage basically is being able to express yourself when you're having a issue or problem with somebody else. So instead of you saying you did this, you're the reason this is happening to me, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's you. Instead of you doing that, you start the message with I feel disrespected, I feel hurt, I feel disappointed. This message helps me a lot with my kids, and it's helping with even in my marriage. For example, me and my wife, when we first got married, we had to learn how to communicate a lot better, because we came from two different kind of households. I was a single child and she was a household of 5 kids. So that alone was different for both of us. The way we were raised was different. So we had to realize that we're bringing factors from how she was raised and factors of how I was raised. And we had to sit down one night and think about what was the good things we liked about our parents in our childhood growing up. What were the things we wish we did have, and let's put that all together and let's see what we do want to keep, what we don't want to keep, and it'll help us be better parents and better communicators ourselves in our own relationship. My wife was a single mother for 8 years before I met her, and me, I was single and basically did a lot of things on my own for a long time. I was in relationships, but I was always the main person in the relationship. It was never delegated to where I can trust the other person enough to say, hey, I'll trust you with this bill, or hey, I'll trust you with my life. I mean, it's being honest. When you get married, you have to be able to trust this person with every aspect. You need to know that at the end of the day, they have your back and you have your back. I put a post on Facebook saying, you want a shipmate, not a shipwreck. It's very important when you get married. And so for me and her, we had to really sit back and think about what are things we want to keep in our marriage, and it was our foundation to keep us whole and have a solid relationship. So I said all that to say, dealing with an iMessage, there was an incident where me and my wife, we had I won't say we didn't have it was more like a disagreement. It was one of those things you want to say, I agree to disagree. But afterwards, I felt uneasy. I didn't feel good, so I came to her, and it was like a couple of days ago. But it was after I took this lesson. So I said, I'm gonna try something different. I said, instead of me saying, you did this or da da da, I said, Sierra, I feel disappointed that we weren't able to come to an agreement on this conversation, and I feel like in the future, I feel like we should be able to express ourselves without the other person feeling offended. So I'm gonna work on my communication with you, And I feel like it'll be good that, you take time and work on your communication with me. We know each other enough to know what we like and what we don't like. And we know how we want the other person to receive and talk to us. I respect you, you respect me, but I think in the future it'll be best that we just sit down sometime. And if we're not ready to have that conversation right then, it's one of those things where it's okay to say, hey, I'll come back. Let's talk about this later on. I learned a lot from the iMessage. I love iMessage. Again, the iMessage is basically just saying you're expressing how you're feeling. You're getting a detail of what happened, and then you coming up with a solution or result. So, my name is Jeremiah Priest again. I thank you for listening to me. This will be posted on YouTube. Please channel in. I might post more videos. I hope you have a great day.